Uh, this is the second part of lecture 3, and in the first part, I was talking about the organizational structure of a food industry. So, in this video, first I will talk about the approaches, quality control approaches that the organizational manufacturing industry follow, and then finally, uh, okay, then I'll talk about the challenges and also the future. Okay, so first the approaches. So please keep in mind here, I mean by this word, the quality control approaches. I'm not solely talking about that particular QC or QA department. Okay, these are the approach, the total approach that a company implement or follow to achieve their goal. So what's their goal actually? I mean, what's the goal of a manufacturer? To produce safe food which is accepted, by the consumers. Okay, and actually these approach are not only for the food industry. Okay, this approach can be implemented in or followed in any type of manufacturing company. Okay, it can be a food industry, it can be a car making industry. Okay, so it can be electronics industry, whatever. Okay, so I mean, actually, if you Google it, the approaches for quality control, you will find the several approaches. Okay, different approaches invented or proposed by different, sometimes by some person, sometimes by department. Okay, like the U.S. Department of Defense, they also have a quality control management system. Okay, the Motorola, we all know Motorola. Okay, once a famous cell phone manufacturing company. They also have a quality control management approach. Okay, so anyway, I mean, if you Google, you will find several one. Basically, I just took this summary from the Wikipedia. So this is the link of the Wikipedia page. So if you open this page, actually there you will find this table where they summarize the notable approaches. I mean, actually, usually all the different organization or consultants, they some have their own approaches to quality control. Okay, and these are few of them. Okay, so most which are most notable. Okay, which are most famous. Okay, okay, I'm directly showing that table from the Wikipedia. So basically, if you go to the Wikipedia and look for that link, quality control. I mean, you just go to the Wikipedia and type quality control. You will find this page. Okay, in this page, you will find the approaches. Okay, the notable quality control approaches. Okay, look, I will not go very deep with this. With these topics. These are more like a management thing. Okay, but I'll just give you some a brief idea. Okay, I myself also not an expert on this thing. These are management things. Okay, these are related with the management department. Management department or management things. But it's good to know about these approaches. Okay, in future, if you are suppose you are in the manufacturing industry, you are in the food manufacturing industry, or you are in the pharma industry. Okay, so there is always a chance, or maybe you will just go for the management. Okay, so in that case, actually, you have to have the idea about the management systems and the approaches. In that case, you can actually definitely, you can study more about these processes. Okay, so at least for now, it's good to at least have the idea about the approaches. Okay, so and look at this, different approaches. There are several approaches, and those approaches were, started in different years. Actually, so in the first approach, like in 1930, one approach was statistical quality control. Okay, so in this approach, the application of statistical methods, some statistical tools, in this method, some statistical tools were used. Okay, some statistical methods, specifically control charts and acceptance sampling to quality control. Actually, control charts mean, in the first process industry, you have to run several processes. So actually, you have to monitor all those processes, that whether all the parameters are within range. So for example, if I try to give you a simple example, like for example, you need to store your finished product, or you need to store your raw material, or you need to store a processed product. It's not a finished product, it's not a raw material, it's something in between, whatever. Suppose you need to store it in the refrigerator, and the temperature of the refrigerator should be 4 degrees Celsius. So sometimes those can fluctuate, right? So so you have to keep the record that whether the fluctuation is within acceptance range. Okay, so that is actually control charts. That is the purpose of control charts, to monitor the parameters of all the processes. Okay, and then check whether they are within range or not. Okay, so that means in a statistical control method, they they use a statistical methods. Okay, and it was actually in 1930. So okay, you can ask me one thing, that okay, so they are checking, they are monitoring monitoring all the parameters. So what happened if the monitors, the parameters are not within the range? Okay, one interesting thing is, look, when these methods were used to use in 1930s, very early, you know, the idea of about the quality control, or people's understanding about quality control things was actually different. It changed time to time. In the last slide of this lecture, I'll talk about this one. How this changed, how this notion about, notion of people, understanding of the people about the quality control changes. Actually, around at that time, in around 1930, actually it was like 1950. The goal of QC was to check, just check whether the product is good or bad. Okay, if it is bad, throw it out. If it is good, just use it. People don't. Until that time, people don't used to think about what to do. Okay, so if okay, there is something wrong. So do you have to? Do you have to prevent it or do anything? No, people actually didn't think like that in that time. If it is bad, throw it away. If it is good, accept it. Something like that. Okay. So then in 1956, total quality control approach. Okay, this is another approach, total quality control approach, and this approach was popularized by this person. Okay, Armand V. Feigenbaum. Okay, so he's an American quality control expert and a businessman. Okay, so and in this method, it was stressed that QC, quality control, is not a sole responsibility of the QC department. Rather, all the other departments like the accounting department, design department, finance, human resource, marketing, purchasing, sale, everyone. Okay, every department should be involved. Okay, every department should be involved in achieving quality, good quality. Okay, every departments, they are part of the quality controls management system. Okay, so then a statistical process control, which was first used in 1960. A statistical process control. In this method, the use of control charts. Okay, usually like the same control charts that was used to use in a statistical quality control system. Okay, so they use of control charts to monitor an individual industrial process and feedback performance to the operations responsible for that process. Okay, look at this. Actually, a statistical process control is kind of similar with this one, but it has some additional thing. Okay, additional thing to do, like they, in this, approach, they monitor. Okay, all the parameters are monitors, all the processor monitors. Whether there is any variations or any deviations. Okay, and also if there is any error, a deviation, a feedback performance was also, should be taken here. They monitor, and if anything goes wrong, they actually do the necessary steps. They take the necessary steps to correct it. Okay, and then in 1968, company-wide quality control system was introduced. Okay, this company-wide quality control system, basically it was first used in Japan. Okay, it was popularized by some Japanese, especially a Japanese researcher. If you Google it, the company-wide quality control, you will actually learn more about this one. Okay, this company-wide quality control is something like total quality control. The company-wide quality control in this approach I mean, the notion was like, or the thing was like, everyone is responsible. I mean, every individual of a industry is a part of the quality control system, and then they also have to do their duties, okay, to achieve their goal. What goal? I mean, to produce safe, accepted food, okay, and not only the people or individuals of the industry of that particular company, but also, I mean, in this approach, they also sincerely taken the feedback from the consumers. I mean, what the consumers are saying, what is their demand. So the company, I mean, they have to produce. I mean, it's the duty of all the individuals of that company to produce safe food, and also in the same time, they have to consider. Okay, they have to address the comments and complaints of the consumer. So suppose if a consumer is complaining about something, the texture of your food, for example, the texture of your food is not good, the taste is not good. They have to address it and they have to improve them. I mean, they have to correct them. And also at the same time, like for example, the consumer is demanding something else. Okay, suppose the consumer is saying that your food can be more better. Okay, you can increase its longevity. I mean, your food get expired very soon. So if consumers, I mean, comment about something like this, in that case, the company also have to address this. Okay, address this with sincerity, and they have to, do the things, do the steps to improve themselves. Okay, so that means in this system, the company have to go through in continuous improvement. They have to improve. Okay, they have to continuously do their own improvement to improve the quality of the food. Okay, it was the Japanese still total quality control. I think in Japan still now they actually use these approaches in the industry. Okay, they produce the best food. I mean, they produce something and they continuously try to improve it. So if you actually ever visit Japan, you will see that in every year there is something new. I mean, they frequently change. They add something. They add some more quality in their products. It can be the food products. It can be the electronics, whatever it is. In every kind of products that the Japanese produce, I mean, they try to add something new feature, something which is better. I mean, something they always try to introduce something better. So, they always try to provide something better to their consumers. Okay. Okay. Then total quality management, first used in 1985. Okay, and this quality approach or movement was originated in the United States of by the United States Department of Defense. Again, they also do some good job sometimes. Yeah, and in this approach, I mean, they uses the techniques of statistical quality control. Okay, again, this approach uses the statistical quality control technique to drive continuous organizational movement. Okay, it's actually not the same like the statistical process control, right? I mean, they use the statistical quality control, and by the data or information they get from the statistical quality control, they continuously improve the organization. Okay, to produce something better. Then in 1986, the Six Sigma. It's actually an approach. Okay, this approach was, developed by Motorola. Okay, actually, in this approach, they also use a statistical quality control, but there is some difference between the total quality management or the Six Sigma. Actually, in Six Sigma is like a very systemic approach. I mean, in this Six Sigma, I mean, you can just Google it. Okay, if you Google it, actually, you will find this space. Okay, the Six Sigma. Okay, in Six Sigma, it is a set of techniques or tools for process improvement. I mean, in this approach, they, by using a statistical tools, they always try to find the deviation. They always try to find the errors or the problems. Okay, they find the errors and the problems, and then they correct these errors or problems using some methods, very well defined methods. I mean, there are some very well defined tools or methods by which they correct those problems, and they also continuously improve those processes. Okay. Then in 2001, there was a new approach, Lean Six Sigma approach. Okay. Okay. In Lean Sigma approach, Okay, I mean from the name we can see that it's something related. I mean, a new word has been added here, Lean Sigma. I mean, actually it's just Six Sigma method, but it's added something more. I mean, in this method, they use the statistical tools. They use the very defined methods to I mean correct and improve any any aberrations. But at the same time, in these methods, the company is very concerned that all kind of waste should be prevented. And in a factory, many different kind of waste can occur. Like here, waste doesn't mean that you are wasting the raw materials, you're wasting the products, and every kind of waste. For example, you are not properly utilizing or addressing the talent that you have. I mean, talent of your personnel. Okay, suppose I mean the worker. I mean, suppose some worker they actually are. I mean, they are very smart. They can do something more better. Okay, they are very innovative, so you have to use them. So if you don't use them properly, I mean, if you just give them some very monotonous work, I mean, which are much which are lower than their pay scale, I mean, they are able to do something better, they are able to do more. So I mean, if you just don't use them properly, it's actually a waste. Okay, so this is also a waste, this is human waste. And so waste can be like these are like how can I say, human waste, right? So you are wasting their merit. Okay, you are wasting their brain, you are wasting their talent. Okay, and also like you are overproducing. Okay, so if you're overproducing, ultimately things will be spoiled. I mean, okay, right? So in Lean Six Sigma approach, you have to prevent all kind of waste. So this was just a overview, a very brief about this method. Okay, so if you want to learn more, please I mean just Google it. You will find several pages about this one, and I mean in the internet everything is there. Okay, so please also try to learn by yourself. I just gave a brief idea. Please, if you are interested, try to learn more. Okay, self learning by self learning. Okay.